Traders, what's up? What's up? Welcome back to another Relentless recap. Man, these last 2.5 weeks, I tell you, it seems like it's a seesaw. Seesaw, seesaw. Red, green, green, red, red, green, green, red. Can't string together a good couple of green days. Yesterday, sweet day. Today, in the trash can, in the dumps, in the dumps. At our lows, we were down over $3,000. $3,000 at our lows. And we fought our way back to green. I don't believe this is going to be accurate, but let's just look at it anyways for today. I think I have to re-import because I took more trades after this. Yeah, it's not accurate. But anyhows, it is at least to this point. Red 3,200, man. 3,200 in the red. To then go right back to red again. Green to red again. And so, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I think Monday where I was saying, hey guys, I made about 4,000 and then lost about 4,000 before we got to that 3K in gains. Well, from 154, we're red 1,200. We then go from red 1,200, almost 1,300 really, to then red just 500. So we made about $800 and we lost it right back and we're down 1,400. This is how it go, and this doesn't even really tell the full story trade by trade. This is more like an aggregate still. We are at our lows, we made back money, and then, green for a small period of time to then still end red. And, if in hindsight, I should have walked away right here, but the stock that I was looking at in RKDA at that time was looking aggressive. It was looking like we could squeeze and continue to the upside. We had this massive chop here that, man, I tell you, some of these stocks pre-market today was the best place to trade. This gray area, pre-market, extended hours before 9:30 a.m. After 9:30, this is all we had. Like somebody just took a crayon and just started drawing because what chop this was, man. And ideally when there's consolidation and a range, can we break to the upside? If we do, especially if we get above levels like the pre-market high, can we maintain the level and then continue higher? That was not the case here today. So pre-market, for every stock that we're going to look at, you guys will see how smooth the pre-market chart is. As you guys know, for this type of scalping that I do, it's not ideal to trade pre-market, but it can work. And it just sucks to see the best action at this time of day, man. Because regardless of how we twist it and turn it, the open is our bread and butter. But I think coming in a little earlier will still make sense here because, like, if we can just get this move rather than dealing with this nonsense here. So the stock may be too crowded, I suppose. And if you really look at our volume, we didn't have that much of a difference between pre-market high in volume and the open high. So I guess we didn't even need the open anyways, right? As crazy as that sounds. But I lost money in areas like this where the stock was looking good, especially this time, where the stock is looking good over the highs at this resistance, but still rejects. It tries again here, rejects. Early, tried, rejected. And so finally we get the move. I mean, finally, you can see from a massive bottoming wick all the way up. And it looked pretty good. It looked pretty good. We were doing our thing. We were red 1,500 before this move. By the time this thing got up here, and it's just a 30% move, but by the time it got up, we were already green 2,500 at the highs. So a pretty big turnaround, and it was done with small size. I didn't get the chance to size up because I sized down at the time of the day. And, sadly, we didn't get to attack it as aggressively as we would have liked because we probably could have, instead of just being up 25, probably could have been up like 6 or 7. And it would have been that much harder to give back like how we did, especially after sizing down, right? Because we had small size, we never sized down, and that small size remained our base size, which then equated to more of a loss coming down, if that makes sense. But it was aggressive, over once it did get going over We went from 770 to 872. There's a baby pullback in here from 850. It ripped up to 950. From 950, it dropped down to 884. From 884, ripped up to a high of 970. You can see like dollar share move from 909 to 1031. Small consolidation here. We were hoping we could get the new high. It didn't. And so at this point, we started looking for the 5-minute pullback. I bottom ticked essentially down here. Either the low of this one or this candle here. And I'm holding shares all the way to the highs here. Actually, maybe it didn't bottom tick. 912 to 950. I don't think I was that green on realized. Probably not the $9 low. Maybe more so the low of like 912 to 950. But yeah, I think 912 to 950 on this candle here. I didn't sell all because I thought, hey, we could probably, because the lows were what, 960? We had a low of what, $9? I'm thinking, hey, we can then maybe retest the highs of 1030. Nope, stock sells off. And I tried again. I'm like, okay, this is a bigger 5-minute pullback than I would have anticipated. Fine. And I tried this thing. Let's pull up the show trades. I tried again, maybe 2 more times, and just got blazed. So yeah, I tried here, and lows were 855. 855 lows, man. Was it over here? I think it might have been over here. Yeah, on this particular candlestick. You can see I'm in at 59, 60, 57. Stock goes up to a high of 94. And right here, I was thinking, finally, we're going to get back over 9 and then 950. So I wasn't looking to sell everything because I was looking for that 5-minute longer hold time. Didn't work. Didn't work. And that was RKDA. So for me, red 1500 in the chop. Made money about 3,500. And then lost back another 2,000 of it on the way down, thinking we should get a bottom. Just disappointing. And I felt like the trades on the way down were the right trades. So I'm not mad about that. It does suck that we didn't really get to push size on the way up, because at least we could have had more of an imbalance to the buy side and the winning side with the big shares. There was a trade that I took, I think it was a little early in one of these, maybe here. I'm not even sure. But it was with size. I think it was break of, was it this stock? Was it break of 10? It didn't quite connect. I don't know. My memory's a little off. But anyhow, RKDA roller coaster stock. We also had TARA, which I thought was pretty good in the first minute of the open. But again, as mentioned, pre-market was the move here, because if you guys look pre-market, from 334 to 11 into the open, after that gray area, chop. It's absolute garbage. Absolute chop. Selling off. It's like I'm waiting for the move to be done, and then I start trading like a crazy person. And the hope is that we can get continuation into the open, or preferably nothing happens pre-market and everything happens in the open, right? So as we mentioned earlier, looking into pre-market, it's not ideal for us because we utilize primarily market orders, right? In pre-market, we're using primarily limit orders, although there's offsets. Honestly, on days like this, though, it doesn't matter because the stocks are strong. And I've spoke about this 1,000 times. It's just a matter of being here. I don't know, man. This 6 a.m. wake up thing, I don't know. I'll admit that I'm leaving money on the table, but definitely 8:30 to like 9:20. Like right here in this red to green. Let's see if we do 8:30 on the 1 minute. How did this look? Good volume going up. High of 619, low of 68, high of 90, break of 6. Didn't quite explode right away, but then right here we pulled away. So TARA, not bad. Not bad pre-market. So into the open, the first minute, I thought this candlestick was pretty good, man. But I didn't have the aggression needed to capitalize. I came in a little too mellow. I was looking for smaller size. Maybe let something, come to me in a more subtle way. But this was just pace and power. You had to be ready. You had to be on go time, go mode. And I wasn't. So I basically missed out the bulk of the first candlestick. From there, I took great trades, man. I took some great trades here. We bottomed out and curled up. 1 minute candle made the new high. I remember taking like 3 or 4 trades in a row in this area. Here, here, here. All I thought were winning trades. And I think maybe even one over here. But I'm in early and selling as the stock is going up, but I'm just losing. And apparently I'm just getting terrible fills in the spreads because from how everything I saw played out, I was winning like $300 a trade. I look back, I'm down. I'm like, well, okay. So that was that. FOXX, GWAV, not much on those two. BBM, not much there. PRFX, not much here either. So I guess RKDA and TARA were like the top stocks. Let's go back to the monitor section. MTEM. Okay, there we go. We're missing one. MTEM. This, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. This is a cheaper stock, but sometimes if the float isn't big enough and the stock is a little too volatile, it can be a problem. And I think this was one of those situations where we tried we tried to we did our due diligence, let's say, but because the volatility was so high, it was just a bloodbath. Where you think you're getting in and where you're actually in and where you're trying to sell, and it was just a mess. We took a lot of great trades here though, but just came out on the wrong side of things. I think like midway throughout the day, I had the right idea on RKDA, which was, hey, nothing is working. Just size down and wait for something good. But we need to have that mindset a little sooner in the day, like the moment we're not green and something is not working, because we're giving a little too much time and effort towards slower moves, and we're a little too red before we get something. And part of that too was that I got destroyed on RKDA. I think it was this attempt before the last, where we did hold up for quite some time. I'm like, okay, we failed twice. This time I'm not touching this thing unless it gets over 8. And I can show you guys this trade here. I waited patiently, and I got obliterated buying, man. Completely obliterated. Let's pull it up. Watch this. So RKDA. Let's see. Is this... Am I looking... Am I going insane here? Is this the right stock? RKDA, where are you? Okay, yeah, I'm not going insane. So right here. You can see I was red just 130. Just like barely even red. And then this thing gets over 8. Let me just skip ahead for time here. Oh, okay, okay, never mind. It looks like we took some losses along the way. Let's just look back at this. Oh, that's a brutal loss, indeed. 90. Yeah, I was too aggressive trying to get in below the level of 8, and I'm early. That's a bit of a brutal loss there. A little bit more patience, and we could have had a winning trade here. Lower entry, maybe 50, 60, and then back out on the pop if possible. If not, scratch trade. Yeah, perhaps scratch trade, maybe just a couple cents winner. So I was a little early right there. And then over 8. So right here. This thing pulled back a little bit. And That ended up just ripping over 8 like nothing. Boom. So right here, I'm thinking, here we go. And so I'm watching, and I tried to buy a dip, and I don't know what happened, man. Like, I thought I was getting in like at 825 or something, and this thing just was it just literally was teleporting. Like this is the nonsense we were dealing with. Like in a blink of an eye, like just in 1 second, freaking thing just down. Ah, you gotta love it. On the hard days, you gotta love it too. I mean, just look at the disaster. At least it was so volatile that it worked out in terms of me not getting a super high fill, because I could have easily gotten filled 850 and then I'm down 1300 like in 2 milliseconds. So at worst case, at least I only got filled 78 high. So, but I mean, jeez, man, you see how brutal this thing can be. Imagine if you were somebody, right? And this is why we say it's always a fine line. Forget what happened to me. Imagine you're somebody trying to buy a break of 8 right here. You know, okay, over 8 we can go. Let's say it comes up and you hesitated just a little bit right here, mid 90s, low mid 80s, right? And you finally hit the buy button a little late, like a second late. Boom! Watch this. You're in at 47. That's what's gonna happen. You're in 47. Let's say you bought 1,000 shares. You're in 47, and if you're not quick to sell 55, which is already $1,000 loss, this is why averaging down could be difficult too. Because if you average down like 55, 70, then here's 12, and there are days where this just goes down to $2, slowly selling off. This was what we were dealing with, and I got obliterated, man. But as mentioned, when it did curl up and do its thing, we were able to, we did reduce the deficit there a little bit. And right here, finally, so we got caught one more time again at 8. We didn't learn our lesson, apparently. And when it finally went, we made some money. It goes to show you that I didn't even, retain any of the gains for that long. Let's see. Did I even go up to 2K? Oh, I'm about to say, what happened? Yeah, so I was up like 2K at one point, and then just losses. Just losses. Gave it all back on the backside here. Trade by trade. Again, I was up unrealized in some trades. Didn't take it, thinking we would get the bigger move back to the highs. And with this type of size, maybe it wasn't worth it anyways. Probably just should have scalped. Take the gains. Instead, we lost and lost. We were green unrealized in most of those trades. It's just that we weren't taking the gains, thinking we would get the bigger bounce, and then just no bigger bounce. It just literally went right back down to $7. But anyhow, so that was the day. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow again. Even when it's hard, we have to enjoy it and love it. That's what makes the green days special. So subscribe. Catch you guys later. RT signing out.